तो नमस्कार ऑल ऑफ यू। तो हमारे जो टेस्ट सीरीज अच्छी ओएस मेंस 2024 पाई तार टेस्ट वन रो थर्ड डिस्कशन पार्टा आज हमें कंप्लीट करिबा। सो ऑलरेडी हमें क्वेश्चन 1 टू 10 पर्यंत कंप्लीट कर सारिथिलु। एबे सेक्शन बी की आसीबा जोटा 20 मार्कर 300 वर्ड क्वेश्चन उडा एक्सक्यूज मी ए जो पर्टिकुलर टेस्ट तार सिलेबस पेपर 1 हेरिटेज और कल्चर रोची। ओके, सो टेम्पल आर्किटेक्चर और सोशियो कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट्स ऑफ ओडिशा। सो ऑलरेडी सेक्शन ए रो हमें देखि सारछु फर्स्ट 10टा क्वेश्चन। आज सेक्शन बी टा हमें कंप्लीट करिबा ताले हमरो टोटल टेस्ट पेपर टा कंप्लीट हे जिवो। सो क्वेश्चन 11 को आसंतु। Explain the evolution of Indian miniature painting from early to late medieval period. What socio-political narratives do they reflect? Okay, तेणु हमको miniature painting रो evolution टा अर्ली टू लेट मेडिवल पीरियड पर्यंत लिखिया पड़िबो। आ कोन सेतरे सोशियो पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव्स रहउची ता ऊपर हमको लिखिया पड़िबो। तो एटा 14 मिनिट रे मोडू सारियार अछि। जते बेले आपण लिखुचंती आंसर अनलेस आपण बहुत ही लाइक पूरा फर्स्ट इनिशियल स्टेज रे अछंती आ जानि नांती कि केते स्पीड रे केते टाइम भीतर लिखियार अछि। जदि आपण मेंस ए जनवरी रे देबे कि फेब्रुअरी रे देबे ताहले स्टिक टू टाइम लिमिट। ओके, दीटा अप्रोच अच्छी। गोटे है कि मु प्रथमे लिखे पूराटा लिखिदेवी केते टाइम लगुच मते 14 मिनिट सारिया कथा मते 17 मिनिट लागला आउ 3 मिनिट मते कमेबार अछि। सेटा गोटे अप्रोच। सेकंड अप्रोच है आपण 14 मिनिट्स स्टॉप करिवे आ सेतरे देखिबे कि मते कोन लिखिबार थिला मु केतिकी रे बंद करली आउ केते छाडी देछि। सेकंड अप्रोच टा टिके बेटर। तेनु आस्ते 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 टेस्ट देला परे गोटे पॉइंट आसीबो कि एक्जेक्टली ठीक टाइम रे ताको सारी परिबे। ओके, सो इंट्रोडक्शन गोटे की 2 लाइन रो जेहेतु एगुडा 300 वर्ड आंसर हबो तो 2 लाइन रो दे परिबे किंतु रेलेवेंट हबा कथा टू द पॉइंट हबा कथा। सो इंडियन माइनिएचर पेंटिंग इवॉल्व फ्रॉम रिलीजियस मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स आर्ट इन अर्ली मेडिवल पीरियड इनटू रिफाइंड कोर्टली आर्ट ड्यूरिंग द लेट मेडिवल पीरियड। सो रिलीजियस मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट आर्ट रू इवॉल्व करिकी ओके कोर्टली आर्ट को से ओके तार इवोल्यूशन टा आपण देखे परिबे। इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स द चेंजिंग सोशियो पॉलिटिकल एंड कल्चरल डायनामिक्स ऑफ इंडिया फ्रॉम डिवोशनल एक्सप्रेशन जोटा कि अर्ली मिडिवल पीरियड रे थिला टू इंपेरियल ग्रैंडर एंड रीजनल असर्शन जोटा कि लेटर मिडिवल पीरियड रे हैला। सो ओरिजिन एंड अर्ली पीरियड जोटा कि 7th टू 12th century सेतरे कौन तार फीचर्स थिला। अर्लीस्ट माइनिएचर appeared as illustrations on palm leaf manuscripts under the Pala and the Buddhist schools in eastern India. These paintings were devotional and narrative, marked by symbolic simplicity, linear outlines and limited color use. हैला एटा तार characteristic गुडा। आपण जो नोट्स बनाउचंती तो सेतरे ई फ्रेजेस गुडा लिखि देबे सो दैट ए क्वेश्चन टा न पड़ी पारे। बट मिनिएचर पेंटिंग्स को नहीं कि आउ गोटे जदि कोन क्वेश्चन पड़ला ताहले भी सेम जिंसोडा मु लिखि परिबी। वेस्टर्न इंडिया जैन मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स ऑन पेपर लेटर इंट्रोड्यूस बोल्ड लाइंस, ब्राइट रेड्स एंड गोल्ड, एक्सपेंडिंग बोथ थीम्स एंड टेक्निक्स। ओके, then transitional and regional growth, that is 13th to 15th century. With the rise of regional codes, miniature art diversified across India. Themes expanded to the Ragamala paintings, visually depicting musical modes and emotional states. So regional styles that came up like Deccan style, Rajput style and Gujarat style showed local attire, flora, fauna and customs reflecting growing religious consciousness. The later medieval period, that is during the Mughals and after them, 16th to 18th centuries. The Mughal school under emperors like Akbar, Jahangir and Shah Jahan combined Persian precision with Indian themes. Akbar's Atelier illustrated texts like the Hamzanama and the Razamnama, promoting cultural synthesis and imperial legitimacy. Painting showed royal hunts, तो तार themes गुड़ा कौन थिला? Royal hunts, the hunting upare, battles, processions and court scenes, symbolizing power and political order. The Rajput and Pahadi paintings retained indigenous emotionalism with devotion, depicting Radha Krishna legends, local rulers, and heroic epics with vibrant colors and stylized backgrounds. Art thus became both a political instrument and medium in regional pride, medium of regional pride. तापरे लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन से कहितला कि केमिति आपण को सोशियो पॉलिटिकल सोसाइटी और पॉलिटिक्स रे चेंजेस उडा ओके अर्ली मेडिवल रु लेट मेडिवल पर्यंत केमिति पेंटिंग्स उडा देखो माइनेचर पेंटिंग्स उडा. तो फर्स्ट इट शोज योर इंपीरियल अथॉरिटी. So glorified emperors and royal courts as centers of power and order. Religious synthesis depicted harmony among Hindus, Persian and Islamic motifs. Regional identity, Rajput and Pahadi miniature emphasized local kinship and resistance to imperial dominance. And then social life, it illustrated daily life, music, women's activities and festivals, capturing elite culture. Okay, so the line of conclusion upon the Indian miniature painting evolved from spiritual manuscripts to sophisticated political and cultural documents. These paintings serve as mirror of India's medieval history, celebrating its diversity, creativity and socio-political imagination. 300 वर्ड रे हमकु सारिवार थिला एई आंसर टा 298 वर्ड्स अछि तो आपण गोटे दिटा सेंटेंस चाहिले भी अधिका लिखि परिबे. ओके, जदि आपण को टाइम मिलुनी लिखिया पे ताले जेति की लिखिले बाकी आपण विजुअल फॉर्म रे भी सेटा लिखि परिबे. ओके, किंतु पॉइंट्स उडा जनरली चेष्टा करिवे न मिस करिया पे. क्वेश्चन 12 को अचंतो डिस्कस द भक्ति मूवमेंट इन इंडिया, इट्स मेन फीचर्स, रीजनल एक्सप्रेशंस एंड इंपैक्ट ऑन इंडियन कल्चर. सो टू लाइन रो रेलेवेंट इंट्रोडक्शन. Bhakti movement was a spiritual and social reform movement that transformed India's religious life between 7th to 12th centuries. It emphasized personal devotion or bhakti to God over rituals, promoting equality. So, tara major features uda. Love and harmony among people of all faiths and castes. Okay, the main features kon thila tara devotion over ritualism. So it rejected Vedic ritualism and caste barriers and stressed inner purity and divine love. Then equality and inclusion. Saints like Kabir, Ravidas and Namdev preached that spiritual realization is open to all, irrespective of birth or gender. Then vernacular language. This is one of the most important points. The use of local languages like Tamil, Marathi, Hindi, Odia and Bengali democratized religion and literature. Then simple worship. It introduced bhajan, kirtans and satsang as medium means to connect with God through emotion rather than ritual. Then syncretic outlook, so synthesis thila. The movement shared mutual influences with Sufism, emphasizing surrender and unity of the divine. Regional expressions, so in South India the Alavars or the Vaishnavite saints and the Nayanars or the Shivite saints in Tamil Nadu began the movement through devotional hymns. In Maharashtra, Sant Tukaram, Namdev and Gyaneshwar spread Varkari Bhakti centered on Vithoba of Pandharpur. In North India, that is Kabir, Tulsidas, Mirabai, Surdas infused human love with discipline and symbolism through poetry. Eastern India and Odisha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promoted Gaudiya Vaishnavism, influencing Jagannath culture and Odia literature. Okay, impact on Indian culture. So से बहुत गुड़े एस्पेक्ट्स देछि हमको सब एस्पेक्ट्स रो 3-4 पॉइंट लिखिबार अछि. So languages and literature, it enriched vernacular literature, Hindi, Bengali, Marathi, Odia, Tamil with devotional poetry. Then in music and art, it inspired classical forms like Dhrupad and Kriti and temple dances like Odissi and Bharatnatyam. Then social harmony jodi dekhiba, it broke caste barriers, encouraged women's participation and spread interfaith tolerance. And also national integration ro point bhi apna de pariba ki unified diverse religions under a common devotional and ethical framework. So again 2 lines of conclusion sethare dekhibe ki relevant heithibo seta eta bhi 298 words re hichi. The Bhakti movement reshaped Indian society through spiritual democratization and cultural synthesis. Its ideals of devotion, equality and love continue to guide India's pluralist ethos. Question 13. Evaluate the challenges in preserving India's architectural heritage like temple, monuments, etc. in face of urbanization, pollution and tourism pressure. Propose solutions. So eta gote applicative question. Okay. Introduction. India's architectural heritage from ancient temples to Mughal monuments stand as a testimony to its civilizational depth. Ei term ta again ame nahi pariba. Alga bhi ko answer re ame like pariba. Civilizational depth. However, increasing urbanization, pollution and unregulated tourism have put these cultural assets under severe stress, threatening both their physical integrity and historical significance. So key challenges ithre amar kon rochi urban encroachment and weak regulation. So rapid expansion of cities has led to violation of protected zones around heritage sites. Jemti ki amaro Odisha re dekhantu jo Kharavelankara okay jo tankara capital thila Shishupalgarh. So sethi apan dekhibe ebe completely it has been taken over by land mafia. Taku plotting kariki bikai ki ghar par rahi sarleni se jagare. Encroachments, illegal constructions and infrastructure projects disturb the aesthetic and structural stability of monuments. Then pollution and environmental decay. Air pollutants like sulfur dioxide and carbon particles corrode sandstone and marble surfaces. The Taj Mahal's yellowing due to industrial emissions near Agra exemplifies the impact of urban pollution. Okay. So eta gote major example apna de paribe. Tapare tourism pressure, overcrowding at major monuments causes wear and tear, waste accumulation and vibration harmful for old foundations. So lack of visitor regulation and inadequate facilities worsen the damage. Tapare climate and natural hazards. So rising humidity, floods and coastal erosion threaten temples and forts situated near water bodies. Examples like damage to Sun Temple at Konark and coastal monuments in Tamil Nadu. Tapare governance and resource gaps. So coordination issues between central, state and local bodies delay conservation projects. Funds asuni ki jaha bhi problem hochi. So limited funding and shortage of trained conservators further weaken heritage management. Solution se koji propose kari apni to kon propose solution se paribo. To first hala scientific conservation, use of laser cleaning, protective coatings and digital monitoring systems for preventive care. Establish regional conservation labs for climate specific restoration, policy and urban planning vitare. Enforce heritage bylaws and buffer zones around protected monuments. Integrate heritage impact assessments into all urban development projects. Then responsible tourism management. Introduce carrying capacity limits, ticketing systems and alternate tourist circuits. Okay, कहना especially जो fragile ecosystems अच्छी जेमती कि अपन करा hills रे हेला सेठी हमें देखो जो landslides बॉडी जाउची ए सब जिंस पे. Promote eco-friendly facilities and public awareness campaigns. Then community and institutional engagement एटा बहुत important. सेठी कार जो लोक माने अच्छी से community एथरे involve हबार अच्छी. Involve local communities as stakeholders in preservation and revenue sharing models. Encourage corporate support through CSR based heritage funds. सबू गवर्नमेंट फंड करले ताको भी प्रॉब्लम होबो. Examples India जो देखिए pollution control measures near Taj Mahal heritage management at Hampi and Khajuraho through community led tourism. अब global जदि अपन देखिए sustainable tourism models at Machu Picchu and Angkor Wat. Okay. So conclusion again 2 lines रो relevant relevance टा रहला दरकार. India's architectural heritage is not just a legacy, but a living link to its cultural identity. A synergy of science, policy, and community participation is essential to ensure these timeless structures endure for future generations. 300 words, 301 words at each. Okay. So 14 or 15 complete kariba aguru. We'll take just a short break of 5 minutes. Okay, let us continue then. That is question number 14. So, trace the development of temple architecture in Odisha from early shrines to the grand stone temples. Mention the dynastic contributions and stylistic changes. So, let us start then. The evolution of Odisha's temple architecture, also called the Kalinga style, represents a continuous process of refinement from simple early shrines to the majestic stone edifices of medieval period. It mirrors region's political patronage, religious devotion, and mastery in stone craftsmanship. Okay, so first the early phase. So early phase रे कौन हमारा जो first Bhubaneswar group of temples अच्छी. The earliest shrines such as the Bharateshwara, Shatrughaneshwara and Parshurameshwara in Bhubaneswar. Actually Bharateshwara, Shatrughaneshwara ଆଉ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମଣେଶ୍ୱର ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ଟେମ୍ପଲ୍ସ ଗୁଡା ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଥିଲା ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ସିଙ୍ଗଲ ଚାମ୍बर ଟେମ୍ପଲ୍ସ ଥିଲା ସେଥିରେ କେବଳ ଗର୍ଭଗୃହ ହିଁ ଥିଲା ଓକେ ଆଉ ମଣ୍ଡପସ କରିକା କିଛି ନଥିଲା ଜଗମୋହନ ନଥିଲା ସେଇଟା ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଲା ଜଗମୋହନଟା ପ୍ରଥମ ଥର ପରଶୁରାମେଶ୍ୱର ଟେମ୍ପଲ ରେ ଓକେ ସୋ ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ଜିଶନାଲ ଫେଜ ରେ ଆପଣ କହିପାରିବେ ପରଶୁରାମେଶ୍ୱର ଟେମ୍ପଲ ଟା ଓକେ ସୋ ଦିସ୍ ମାର୍କ ଦ ଫର୍ମେଟିଭ ଷ୍ଟେଜ. Built under the Shailodhava dynasty, these temples were small square sanctums with modest rekha deolas, that is curvilinear spire and limited ornamentation. But in Parshurameshwara, for the first time, your Jagamohana was introduced, although it was a rectangular type of Jagamohana. Okay. The use of coarse sandstone and symbolic motifs like Chaitya arches and Amlakas began during this phase. Then the formative phase, under the Bhaumakaras and the Somavamsis, temple building expanded dramatically. The Mukteshwara temple, that is 10th century, represents a transitional masterpiece. Richly carved Toranas, जोटा कि अपना मुक्तेश्वर टेम्पल रो freestanding, independent standing Toranas, lattice windows and lion motifs introduced a new aesthetic refinement. Architectural forms began to follow the पंचरथ प्लान. आमर जिते बड़ मंदिर अच्छा सब पंचरथ मंदिर जगन्नाथ मंदिर पुरी है कि आपनकर लिंगराज मंदिर है कि कोणार्क मंदिर जो अर्स्टवाइल तार देउलटा थिला ओके सेटा सब पंचरथ कंबाइनिंग देउल दैट इज द सैंक्टम एंड द जगमोहन दैट इज द असेंबली हॉल. देन मैच्योर फेज दैट इज द 11th to 13th century जदि हम देखिबा excuse me the Somavamsis and earlier Gangas brought temple architecture to its zenith. The Lingaraj temple जो 11th century रे at Bhubaneswar shows the full structural evolution. Deula Jagamohana, Nata Mandira and Bhoga Mandapa in perfect axial alignment. Okay, एटा सबुठु बेस्ट एग्जांपल कुआ जाए कलिंगन स्कूल ऑफ आर्किटेक्चर रा कोन पे ना आरो जो प्रोपोर्शंस होरिका अछि that is exactly as written in the canonical text. Okay, like in the Bhuvana Pradipa. ओके सो भुवन प्रदीप रे जो जो रेशियो देछि कि एतिकी आपनकर पीढ़ार यू नो पृष्ठर एतिकी लेंथ हबो एतिकी तो सेटा एग्जैक्टली सेमती ही फॉलो हिच. द सन टेम्पल एट कोणार्क बिल्ड बाय किंग नरसिंहदेव वन ऑफ ईस्टर्न गंगा डायनेस्टी एपिडमाइजेस ग्रैंडियर conceived as a colossal chariot of sun god with 24 wheels and 7 horses. It represents the climax of Odishan sand art. Use of chlorite and khondalite stones, precision jointing and sculptural details reflect high craftsmanship. Tapare stylistic features and legacy. Distinctive vertical elevation of the Bada, the Gondi and the Mastaka, iconographic panels and rhythmic carvings define the Kalinga idiom. Later temples at Puri and Bhubaneswar continued these traditions with regional variations. So again, relevant conclusion, Odisha's temple architecture evolved from modest rock-cut shrines to grand ritual complexes, blending devotion with engineering mastery. The patronage of Shailot Babas, Bhaumakaras, Shomavamshis and Gangas established Odisha as a cradle of sacred architecture and artistic excellence. So the 303 words I complete korchu. Last question, that is question 15. Critically assess the state and central government initiatives for promoting Odisha's cultural heritage like temple conservation, crafts, cultural tourism. What are the gaps and future priorities? So, eta current affairs sangare bhi apna misei paribe. Eta bhi gote applicative question, static question no eta. So, introduction, relevant introduction. Odisha's cultural heritage, its temples, crafts and festivals reflect centuries of artistic and spiritual excellence. Both state and central governments have launched major schemes for temple conservation, craft promotion and cultural tourism, yet implementational gaps persist. Okay, government initiatives like temple conservation. The Sri Mandira Parikrama project at Puri enhances security amenities, the heritage and heritage aesthetics around the Jagannath temple. The Archaeological Survey of India conserves Lingaraj and Korak temples using scientific cleaning, 3D scanning and stone strengthening methods. Then cultural tourism, the Prasad and Swadesh Darshan scheme improve pilgrimage facilities at Puri and Konark. Eco Retreat Odisha promotes sustainable tourism at Konark, Bhitarkanika and Hirakud, blending ecology with heritage. Then crafts and artisans, the Kalabhumi Crafts Museum documents Odisha's handicrafts and trains the artisans. The ODOP, okay, that means one district, one product. And PM Vishwakarma Yojana supports local products like Pipli Aplik, Katak Filigree and Raghujarpur Pattachitra through design, branding and finance. Mission Shakti empowers women SHGs in heritage linked enterprises. So gaps or challenges kaun hochi? So coordination issues, okay, overlap between ASI, state archaeology and tourism slows decision making, weak enforcement, encroachments and unregulated tourism threaten Puri and Bhubaneswar temples. Then climate impact, coastal erosion, humidity and pollution damage heritage structures like Konark. Then craft sector issues, low digital literacy, limited design innovation and weak GI enforcement hinder economic growth. So further priorities, future priorities. So create a comprehensive Odisha heritage policy and GIS based monument inventory. Integrate climate resilient conservation in urban and coastal heritage towns. Strengthen artisan clusters via design incubation and credit access and adopt sustainable tourism models with visitor caps and eco-friendly facilities. Okay, examples are like the Sri Mandir corridor, Lingaraj restoration, one district, one product for Katak Filigree. Okay, then global, already we have seen that. The Machu Picchu controlled tourism as model for heritage management. So, conclusion, Odisha's cultural preservation needs a balanced approach combining conservation, livelihood and responsible tourism. So, it is a generic statement, impactful statement. It is olga answers to be hame de pariba. A unified science-based and people-centric strategy can ensure this heritage thrives for future generation. Eta be unified science-based people-centric strategy. A phrase ta hame use kari pariba olga answers re bhi. So it are 300 word one words hame thare. Okay, nature. So this is basically your test 1 15 questions sera jo test 1 ro. So test series रे जो मैंने join करचंती as you know हमरो ए पर्यंत test 15 पर्यंत questions upload हे सरलानी and test 12 पर्यंत model answers upload हे सरलानी. So full syllabus test रो भी start हे छि तारो सब details au तारो link घरिका ए video रो आपण description रे पाइ जे परिबे. So next test 2 रो okay next session रे हमें test 2 रो start करिवा discussion टा. So कहीं ना मोस्टली जो पिला मैंने जॉइन करछथि ऑलरेडी सबमिट करि सरलेनी टेस्ट 2 टा इवैल्यूएट हेकी तांको फेरी सरलानी. तेनु वी विल हैव द डिस्कशन ऑफ टेस्ट 2. ओके सेटा भी एमती 5 क्वेश्चंस रे हमें डिवाइड करि के रखिबा सो दैट हम टिके डिटेल्ड डिस्कशन ता ऊपर कर परिबा. एथरे मन रखिबे यू नीड नॉट राइट द आंसर लाइक द मॉडल आंसर किंतु कथाटा है जो फ्रेज गुड़ा कौच एटा लिखि दियंतु खातारे सेटा टिके मन रखले कौन ना अलग जहाँ भी क्वेश्चन पढ़ले से डोमेन रु आपण आराम रे बेटर मार्क्स पाई परिबे से फ्रेज गुड़ा को यूज करिकी ओके सो आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट नमस्कार।